The year is around 450 BCE. Jerusalem, once a beacon of divine promise, lies in the shadow of its former glory. The city, which once stood as a testament to the strength and faith of its people, now crumbles under the weight of its past. The Grand Temple, rebuilt after the Babylonian exile, stands as a stark reminder of both devastation and hope. It is a symbol of resilience, yet it also whispers of the fragility of human endeavors. It is in this tumultuous period that the prophet Malachi emerges, his name shrouded in mystery, his message a searing indictment of a people teetering on spiritual collapse. Malachi's words cut through the darkness, offering both a warning and a glimmer of hope. Malachi is not a prophet of grand visions or sweeping narratives. Instead, his prophecies are grounded in the everyday struggles of his people, addressing their immediate concerns and spiritual malaise. His is a ministry of raw emotion, of confronting a community grappling with disillusionment and doubt. He speaks to the hearts of those who feel abandoned, urging them to return to their faith and find solace in their beliefs. His book, the last in the Old Testament canon, is short, sharp, and unsettling. It is a collection of poignant messages that challenge the reader to reflect deeply on their own spiritual journey. It is a book that speaks not only to its original audience, but also to us across millennia, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truths about faith, doubt, and the human condition. Malachi's words transcend time, reminding us that the struggles of the past are not so different from those we face today. His call to introspection and renewal remains as relevant now as it was then, urging us to seek out the light even in the darkest of times. Malachi's opening words are a lament, a heartbroken cry of a God who feels unloved and rejected. "I have loved you," he declares, but the response from the people is a chilling, "How have you loved us?" This question, laced with cynicism and apathy, reveals the depth of the spiritual crisis engulfing Israel. They have returned from exile, yes, but their hearts remain distant, their faith a flickering ember. The people, Malachi observes, have grown complacent. Their sacrifices, once heartfelt expressions of devotion, have become empty rituals, devoid of genuine reverence. Their priests, meant to be spiritual guides, are corrupt and indifferent, more concerned with personal gain than the well-being of their flock. The covenant, the sacred bond between God and Israel, lies fractured, its promises seemingly forgotten. Malachi's critique of ritualism is particularly poignant. He sees a people going through the motions of faith without truly engaging their hearts. They offer blemished sacrifices, a blatant disregard for the sanctity of their worship. Their prayers are perfunctory, their songs hollow echoes of genuine praise. Malachi's message is clear. God desires not mere outward compliance, but a transformation of the heart. This message resonates deeply in our own time. We too can fall prey to the trap of empty ritualism, of allowing our faith to become a series of rote actions rather than a vibrant, life-giving relationship. Malachi reminds us that true worship springs from a heart overflowing with love, gratitude, and awe. It is a deeply personal encounter with the divine, not a checklist of religious obligations. Perhaps the most scathing indictment in Malachi is reserved for the priests, the custodians of Israel's spiritual well-being. They have, in Malachi's words, despised God's name, profaning his sanctuary with their hypocrisy and greed. They have neglected their duty to teach the people the ways of righteousness, choosing instead to enrich themselves at the expense of the flock. The betrayal of the priests cuts deep, for it strikes at the very heart of Israel's relationship with God. The people, looking to their religious leaders for guidance and inspiration, find only corruption and indifference. This betrayal of trust creates a chasm between the people and their God, a chasm that seems impossible to bridge. Section 5. The Broken Covenant, a Source of Anguish. Underlying Malachi's pronouncements is a profound sense of anguish. The covenant, that sacred pact that had bound God and Israel together for generations, seems to be on the verge of collapse. The people have strayed from their covenantal obligations, their hearts hardened by indifference and doubt. God, in turn, feels abandoned and betrayed, his love seemingly unrequited. This theme of a broken covenant resonates with the human experience of broken promises and shattered dreams. We know the pain of betrayal, the feeling of disillusionment when something precious is lost. Malachi's words remind us that even in the midst of such pain, God remains faithful. He yearns for reconciliation, for a restoration of the broken covenant. Section 6. Echoes of Doubt, Malachi, and the Human Condition. Malachi's prophecies are not merely ancient pronouncements, they are timeless reflections on the complexities of faith and doubt. His words transcend the boundaries of time, speaking to the very core of the human experience. The questions that haunted the Israelites, "Where is our God?" are not confined to their era. "Why has he forsaken us?" echo through the corridors of human history, resonating with every generation that has faced trials and tribulations. They are questions that have been asked by countless souls wrestling with the silence of God, seeking answers in the midst of their suffering. The seeming absence of his presence in the face of suffering and despair is a universal human experience. Malachi does not shy away from these difficult questions. He acknowledges the pain, the confusion, and the sense of abandonment that can accompany faith. He understands that these feelings are an integral part of the spiritual journey, not a deviation from it. In doing so, he offers a strange comfort, a recognition that doubt is not the antithesis of faith, but rather a thread woven into the very fabric of our relationship with the divine. Malachi's message is clear. It is through grappling with our doubts and fears that we come to a deeper understanding of our faith. His words remind us that questioning is not a sign of weakness, but a path to greater spiritual strength and enlightenment. Section 7. A Glimmer of Hope, the Promise of Refiner's Fire. Despite the bleakness of Malachi's pronouncements, a glimmer of hope pierces through the darkness. The prophet speaks of a coming day of judgment, a day when God will refine his people like silver, purging away their impurities and restoring their hearts to him. This refining process, though painful, is an act of love, a testament to God's unwavering commitment to his people. This image of the refiner's fire offers a powerful metaphor for the transformative power of faith. It reminds us that even in the midst of our brokenness and failures, God is at work, shaping us, molding us, and preparing us for a future filled with hope and restoration. Section 8. The Messenger and the Message Enduring Relevance. Malachi, the messenger of the Lord, may be shrouded in historical obscurity, but his message remains as relevant today as it was centuries ago. His words transcend time, speaking to the core of human nature and the spiritual struggles that have persisted throughout history. He speaks to the human tendency towards complacency, the danger of allowing our faith to become a hollow shell devoid of genuine devotion. In his writings, Malachi warns against the pitfalls of ritualistic practices that lack heartfelt sincerity, urging us to avoid the trap of going through the motions without true commitment. He challenges us to examine our hearts, to confront our doubts, and to seek a deeper, more authentic relationship with the God who loves us unconditionally. This call to introspection is not just a historical footnote, but a living, breathing invitation to transform our lives. In a world often characterized by spiritual apathy and moral ambiguity, Malachi's words serve as a clarion call, a beacon of light in the darkness. His message cuts through the noise of modern life, reminding us of the eternal truths that anchor our faith, a reminder that true faith demands more than mere outward conformity. It calls for an inner transformation, a genuine change that reflects in our actions and attitudes. It requires a transformation of the heart, a deep-seated change that goes beyond surface-level piety. This transformation is not easy. It demands honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to be refined. A willingness to allow God's refining fire to burn away our impurities and make us new. This process, though challenging, is ultimately liberating, leading us to a more profound and fulfilling spiritual life. Section 9. Turning Back. Finding hope in Malachi's warning. Malachi's prophecies, though unsettling, are ultimately a message of hope. They are a call to repentance, a plea for his people to turn back to him with all their hearts. He longs to restore the broken covenant, to heal the wounds of betrayal, and to shower his people with his unfailing love. The choice, Malachi reminds us, is ours. We can continue down the path of apathy and indifference, our hearts growing cold and distant from the God who loves us. Or we can heed his warning, turn back to him with humility and sincerity, and experience the transformative power of his grace. The path is clear. The choice is ours. Let us choose wisely.